Mr. Wayne, nice to see you again, sir.
Thank you for seeing me on such short notice. I appreciate it.
Well, you signed my paychecks. Let's get started. Have a seat. I know we touched on your parents last week, but I wanted to bring them up again this session. I know it's been a while since their death. How are you currently dealing with the trauma?
Well, it's been hard. The pain, it comes and goes. And when it comes, I have to do something about it. So I've developed an alter ego or an alias, if you will, that deals with the pain that I can't deal with myself.
I remember a few sessions back you mentioned a crippling fear of bats. Has this fear of bats, the death of your parents, and this alias you've mentioned before, are they connected in any way? And has this developed any unhealthy habits in your day-to-day life?
Why, yes. Well, I am up all night doing what you could call community service. And there is also garbage on the streets that needs to be taken out.
Well, no red flags there. I'd say you're dealing with the trauma in a very healthy manner.
Well, thank you, Doc. And with this line of questioning, I have to add, you're quite the detective. You might be better at your job than I am at mine.
You're quite the Joker, Mr. Wayne. The Joker, Mr. Wayne.
The Joker, Mr. Wayne.
Where is he? Joker! I am vengeance! I am justice! I am the night! Joker! Where is he?
Taken out. I can't. Right.
I feel like you could also like look into the camera, let it zoom.
Do what you call
I could zoom in like as you.
Well, I am up all night doing what you call.
As a to the fans, like, it's like, it's like we know what.
I feel like a natural zoom would be funny.
Yeah.
I am up all night doing what you could call
community service.
community service.
Hey you guys, I'm Venus Monique from the hit crime drama Vindication, and you guys should definitely make sure you're catching the Maurice Brown Show on Roku TV.
Aaron Moore. What's going on, Aaron?
What's going on, Mo?
Well, I just had my son. He's doing an episodic called the Bruce Wayne series, the Black Bruce Wayne series. So they're working on that. And,
Okay.
He's a psychiatrist. Aaron, what's going on, brother?
Everything going good. I have no complaints.
Okay. I'll tell you right now. Can hear me out there, but we just have some technical difficulties. So, what did you think of the AllStar Weekend, Aaron?
I really didn't have no problem with the games. I didn't have no problem with the NBA did with the final game with the AllStar, with the Durant LeBron game. I didn't have no problem with that. I did have a problem with the dunk contest though. I said that's the only thing. But the overall game and everything, I didn't have no particular. The NBA is doing better than the NFL when it comes to the difference between the All Pro and AllStar Weekend. The only thing the NBA has to fix is the dunk contest.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with that. And the sad thing is the dunk contest was everything.
Yes.
Going back to Michael Jordan, the dominant Wilkins, and the list goes on. Kobe Bryant, the age of Kobe Bryant, and those were like real gun duels.
Yes.
And it just doesn't exist anymore, and it takes a lot away from it because that's really the AllStar Weekend.
You know where the problem went at? I think this is where the problem started, and I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna blame the king when LeBron James decided when he was getting pressured not to do the dunk contest and he never did it. I think that started something with the superstars, because if you go back, you look at the Vince Carters, you just go back and you see all the superstars that was in the NBA. They wanted to do the dunk contest, but now it was an honor to do the dunk contest, But now for some reason the superstars these days they don't want to do it. But I heard an interesting take on the radio on Sports Talk 980 actually this morning, where I don't know if you've seen some of these other dunk contests where these guys not in the NBA, but they could do marvelous dunks. They could do some of these dunks are better than NBA dunks. If they could take some of these guys and have them compete against the NBA guys, or have them in between, I think that would make it a more exciting. Can these no-name guys beat NBA guys in a dunk contest? I think something like that would be put these guys in there, or just get rid of them and bring these guys in and have them do dunks, because I think it'd be a lot of them biting at the bit to get on national TV to show their skills. So because I know you heard everybody's talking how terrible the dunk contest was this time.
Well, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But what did you think of LeBron James' comments during the weekend suggesting he might go back to Cleveland?
I don't know how much I put on that. I think the main thing LeBron wants to do is play with his son. I think his son coming up, in the NBA, whatever team drafts his son has a great chance of getting LeBron James, because not to my knowledge, that's never been done in the NBA, where a father and son duo has played together. So I think that's his ultimate goal. But again, LeBron, I think he just, I might step on some toes, but I think he's a diva. I mean, this is my opinion. When it's a problem, he wants to run. I mean, that's just my opinion. He did it early in his career when they went to when they played the Boston Celtics. I believe it was the Boston Celtics, and they got ran through, and he hopped out of there. He got the big three, and then after the big three, and then he went to, after the big three, I think did he go back to Cleveland, or did he go to after
he went back to Cleveland, after he did the big three in Miami, then he ran back, to Cleveland like a little kid.
and then he went to LA. So I don't know. In my mind, I just think he's a diva, and that's just my opinion of him. And I got that because I got to see him live. I'm just not saying that because I'm just seeing what I said. I saw him play live, and that's my take when I got from the LeBron James playing. So I don't know. He just not that type of breed. Back when you got the Jordans and the Ewings, and he's just not that type of breed.
Yeah, and he said he wants to. Now he says he wants to play with his son Bronny before he leaves. And listen, by the way, is Bronny an NBA prospect?
NBA prospect, is he a first round pick? I don't know. I think a team's going to take him because they have a chance of getting LeBron. That's just my opinion. And I mean, some owners going to tell him to draft this kid because we have a chance of getting LeBron James if we grab his son and tell him he can come play with his son. So some teams going to give him a shot. What team that is, I don't know. I hope it's not the Wizards.
Yeah. Now, what's the deal with his son Bronny right now? Is he still in high school or is he in college yet?
Uh, I believe I'm not going to say 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure where he is, but I know he is a prospect.
Well, I'm getting a little tired of this running back and forth with LeBron. I want to switch gears to Steph Curry though, and he showed off over the weekend. Do you think that Steph Curry's shooting is more of a result of the number of threes that he puts up, or because I think about Larry Bird, I think about my man that was in Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. Ray Allen put up a lot of threes, but Larry Bird, there were some great shooters before Steph that didn't shoot nearly as much. Do you think it has more to do with how many times he shoots?
I think that's a factor. He has to get his shots up, but I think another important factor is how they are allowed to play defense now in the NBA. Can't hand check no more, of course, but it was more pressure defense back when Reggie Miller, when them guys were you have I even put John Paxson in there, Steve Kerr. I mean, so you can name so many 3-point specialists. The defense is so soft now because they want points. Uh, is he up there? Is he one of the greatest shooters ever? Yes, he is. I would say yes, he is. But the numbers that he has, I don't want to say it's flawed, but it's not. It's to me, it's not the same as when Michael Jordan and them was playing because the defense was different. It was more tougher. In my opinion, if he was playing back then, he wouldn't have lasted the game because they would have put him on his behind a couple times.
Yeah.
So they would have made sure he stayed out there and they on the 3-point line. But I mean, he's one of the top shooters ever in the NBA. He's gonna go down to the NBA Hall of Fame just because of his shots. But I mean, I wouldn't say that. Could you say I'm sure some people already have him as the best out there. Stephen A. already say he's the best pure shooter out there, and I can agree with that. Best pure shooter, yes, I would agree with that. But would I pick him over Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, clutch shooting? He does have the clutch gene, but Reggie Miller had that too, and he was a spot shooter. But I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with picking any of them guys. But I think he is in the conversation though.
Well, I think that there's no question about it. I just noticed that he puts up a lot of freaking threes, and but he's a great shooter. But I just thought I would throw the question out. I'm glad the NBA is now heading towards its second part of the year. Now this is where we get down to the nitty gritty, and The NBA kicks its games off this Thursday, and TNT is going to kick it off with Boston taking on Brooklyn at 7:30 p.m. Boston 34-25, and Brooklyn 31-28. Boston now starting to come on. What do you think of the Celtics?
Boston is hot right now. I like the way they playing, but going into Brooklyn right now, with Kyrie, because they playing at home, correct? I believe Brooklyn's at home, so Kyrie gets to play, correct? So Kyrie gets to play. I'm not sure if the new addition is playing. I'm assuming they are. I know Kevin Durant's out. He's not going to be able to play. But I think Brooklyn right now know that their backs up against the wall, and I'm gonna go for Brooklyn over Boston.
Well, you know what? Brooklyn's a mess as far as I'm concerned, and I think the fact that Boston's coming on Brooklyn right now, like you said, they don't know when they're going to get Ben Simmons back. They don't know when if his mental health is in question. The folks in Philly did a number on Big Ben, dude. The folks in Philly, the Philly Fanatics did a number on my man. I mean, he can't even function mentally.
But was he playing the game? Was it mental health? I don't, because at one point he put out a statement saying it wasn't. Then he came out and said it was. Was he just trying to get out of Philadelphia? I mean, I don't know, but he looks happy on the sideline in Brooklyn, so I don't know.
Hey, dude, they ain't got places like that in Australia, man. Ain't no Philly in Australia. He was like, "Oh, you can't come foul in Philly, man," and they never let you forget it. And now he's talking to the shrink. But
I would say this: if Ben Simmons starts to play and he's playing Thursday night with Kyrie, they're gonna win that game.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I got a lot to say about Brooklyn. We're gonna touch on some of the things that's coming up with them a little bit later on in the show. But 7:30 tomorrow night on TNT. It's going to be Brooklyn and Boston, and then also on Thursday slate we've got the upstart Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Detroit Pistons, a terrible Detroit Piston team on League Pass at 7 p.m. on Thursday. What do you think about Cleveland and the way they're playing right now?
Cleveland, one of them shocking teams. Nobody expect Cleveland to be in the position they are right now at this stage in the season. So I like the way they playing. They got some young, great players, and I got Cleveland over that one.
And then, of course, you've got Atlanta and Chicago, 7 p.m. on League Pass Thursday night. Hawks not playing as well as we thought they might to this point, but the Bulls. That's it, Mike Scott. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I ever since they did what they did to Mike and Scotty, I can't bring myself to root for them. But they're playing really good basketball, and believe it or not, they're in the championship picture.
They are in the championship picture, and they playing great ball right now. Yeah. But Atlanta, one of them spotty teams that you don't know which night they're gonna show up and which night they not. Right. So they one of them type of teams this year. But I think Chicago gonna pull this one off.
Well, Trae Young is a Steph Curry wannabe. Okay, dude, calm down. You're not Steph Curry, but
not yet.
And I say that because he's wildly inconsistent. You're right. There's some nights he'll destroy you, and other nights he can't hit the backside of a barn. So, he needs to find out what his niche is and find out where his game, because he's a really good player, but play your game.
He is. He's a true point guard, but he's not a shooter like Steph. No. He's not a shooter like Steph. He needs to drive to the hole, get his shots when it's open. Get his team involved. He's one of them type of players, but I don't know would he ever get that shot like Steph. I don't think he will, but that's just me talking. But I don't think he's gonna ever shoot like Steph.
Of course not. Moving forward, we've also got on League Pass tomorrow Memphis and Minnesota. Memphis 41-19 with Ja Morant. and Minnesota 31-28. I tell you right now,
I,
Memphis looks pretty dangerous.
I was about to say I won't be surprised if they make it to the conference championship. I'm just saying with Moran,
They're pretty lethal.
yeah, they with him, he is. I'd say right now he's the steal in that draft class. Uh, he is a dynamic player. He's an all-star now. And he's going to be an all-star for many years. He continues to play like that. He's going to get a championship, and people going to want to play with him too. He's going to bring players to him and want to play with him. They're playing well. They one of them scary teams that nobody really talking about making it to the championship game, but I put him up there. With him in the lineup, they could win. They have a chance to win every night.
Yeah, they are, and we're going to talk more about the top 5 teams a little bit later on. But they are awfully dangerous. And then also on Thursday night, the late game on TNT has the Phoenix Suns at 48-10 taking on the Portland Trailblazers at 10 p.m. on TNT tomorrow night. And now Phoenix is without Chris Paul, who's injured again, and don't know how long he's going to be out. What are your thoughts on Phoenix going forward without Chris Paul?
They need Chris Paul. He's a facilitator on that court. He's a leader. He's a coach on the court, basically. And he's going to give you that double that you need. If they not saying they can win, put a couple wins, like they could win Thursday night without Chris Paul, but when they get to the playoffs and when they get long in the season, if you go back and look at that stretch last year they won a lot of them games because of Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Because the way he was playing, the way he was orchestrating the offense, the way he was getting people involved, the way he was finding open people. He just draws the defense to him, and that little free throw flow that he got is unstoppable when he get that going. So if the Suns don't have Chris Paul going into the stretch, it's a lingering injury, which I haven't heard haven't heard nothing that's just lingering, just precaution or whatever. But if they don't have him going in the long haul, then they're gonna be out. They're gonna be maybe out soon of the playoffs.
Well, listen. I'm gonna say this. Here's the thing about Chris Paul. First of all, he's the best point guard in the NBA right now. Chris Paul is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Chris Paul is probably all time, in my book, a top 10. I mean, all time top 10 point guard, if not top 5, and no ring. And the reason being, and it is sad, and there are some players, Aaron, that can't stay on the field. And if you look at his career, injury has always kept Chris Paul from sealing the deal. You go back to Houston and playing with James Harden, and I don't defend James Harden's attitude, but he got hurt in that series against Golden State, where I fully believe had he been available, Houston would have won it all that year. And Chris Paul just can't stay healthy, man. And here we go again. He's got a very serious thumb injury, and I don't think Devin Booker can hold the fort down for very long once they get to postseason without Chris Paul. What are your thoughts on at least getting out of the first round without Chris Paul?
I think if they could hold on to the number one spot they got, I think they should be able to get out the first round. But other than that, Devin Booker is just not going to be enough. He's not going to be enough to get them over the next round. They really need Chris Paul to be healthy. Basically, Devin Booker can get him. He's good enough to get him out the first round of whoever they match up, whoever snags that 8th seed. But without Chris Paul, they ain't going too far. It's just that's what it is.
No, I think Devin Booker is a guy that has benefited tremendously. Everybody on that team has benefited tremendously from Chris Paul. What an awesome player he is. We just got to pray and hope and believe
But
that he can get back, because if he's ever going to do it, Aaron, this is the year for him to get it done. But then you look out in the West. We just talked about Memphis. We haven't even really mentioned Golden State. Two other championship worthy teams, not to mention the fact that you've got Utah out there hanging around in the West. You've got the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic out there hanging around in the West. I mean, there's some dogs out there, and then you look over in the East, and there's Milwaukee, there's Miami, there's Chicago, and there's Philly. There's Brooklyn, maybe if they can get their chemistry together with the additions that they've made. It's not going to be. It's not a lock that even with the healthy Chris Paul that they would win it. But I think this is surely the best chance he's ever had to get it done. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
If the season ended Thursday, let's just say Thursday, the Suns will be playing the LA Clippers. I think without a Chris
Paul, out of that round.
They get out. But behind the Clippers is the Lakers.
They can beat. They don't need Chris Paul to beat the Lakers.
You think so?
The Lakers are horrible.
Are you so you saying if the Lakers with the AC and they didn't have Chris Paul, do you believe you don't think LeBron can get him out of there?
Let me say this, Aaron, just once more for clarity. They cannot beat the Phoenix Suns without Chris Paul.
Okay.
Even without Chris Paul, the LA Lakers are that bad. and I hate saying that because I wasn't one of those people to throw the Lakers under the bus when they were struggling at first and so forth.
Uh-huh.
But Russell Westbrook was a bad pickup. We see that clearly now. Anthony Davis can't stay on the floor. LeBron James is looking around for help. It's not there. And LeBron James is still the best, not only the best player on that team when healthy, he's still the best guy in the league, in the world, to me. He's still it. But you got to have help. And he doesn't have any help. He has zero help. But I don't know. I still think they could beat the Lakers. I don't even know if the Lakers are going to make the playoffs.
They need to get it together. I'll tell you that much.
Well, we will see what happens. Those are Thursday's games in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Maurice Brown Show, NBA Sports Edition with Aaron Moore. And as we switch gears from that, let's switch over to some players in the NBA like Luka Doncic. I just mentioned Luka Doncic. Is he worthy of being compared with Larry Bird? And if so, why? Or why not?
I've been thinking about this question for a long time, and it's a great question.
Okay.
Larry, but to me, they got two different games. I say Doncic's cause Larry was a more spot shooter type of player. He was good in the post up game. Larry could drive to the hole if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But is he a better worthy to be compared to Larry right now? No.
Okay.
Because of the rings. Larry got rings. And and Larry not only does Larry have rings, Larry carried them teams to get them rings.
Yes, he did.
And Luka hasn't done that yet. Is he a dynamic player? Yes, he's a dynamic player. But to say he's in the same bracket as Larry, I'm gonna have to say no to that. He got some more work to do. Because if you could compare him with Larry right now, then I think that's hindering what Larry did, his legacy, his whole career. And I think Larry, especially the teams Larry had to go through to get them rings, and to stay on top, he had to go through some juggernauts. So Luka, not yet.
And I was at a point where I was ready to say that 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
especially when they were in the bubble and they
Hmm.
beat the Clippers. He hit him. He hit Kawhi and main man with that last second shot,
Hmm.
and he sent him home.
I
I
saw
said,
that.
yeah, even though they lost the next round, but I've
Mhm.
watched Luka this year, and as I look at Doncic, it's there, and you hit it right on the head. He's not able to carry Dallas
Mm-mm.
to that next level like Larry Bird carried Boston, and the reason being is he's a fat boy.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying there? He's a fat boy. He loves the spaghetti. Oh
Yeah, he
mama, oh
got.
mama. You see what I'm saying? No. Luke, you've got to get in shape, and you can see down the stretch of games where he's run out of gas.
Yeah,
And there are even points during the season where he runs out of gas, and he'll give you 45, 50 points. But, I need you at the most critical stages of the game. I still need you standing tall in the settle. I still need you playing like a man and getting it done and taking your team to that next step. And that is what I've seen in Luka. That's a problem now. Now, he's a kid. I don't want to get on him too harshly. He's a young guy, and he's got time to mature and understand. And Larry Bird was in great freaking shape. I mean, Larry Bird would run all the stairs at the old Boston Stadium, before games, during the week. I mean, the guy was a workout-aholic, and Luka is not that. All you got to do is look at him. I mean, he's just you can see Luka's really not that workout dude. But
Yeah.
in order to go to the next level, he's gonna have to be that.
Hmm.
And so no, to your point, no, he's not right now worthy of being compared to Larry Bird. But I think he's in him. I think he's capable of being as good. He's as good. He's capable of being as good as Larry Bird. And if he got in tip-top condition, he could take it to another level. But right now, I totally agree with what you said. He's not able to take his teams to winning situations or to a championship. He's not able to do that. We can see that. But
Yeah.
they're very good, and you don't want to draw Dallas in the first round.
Mhm. No, you
That's
don't.
a team that you don't want to see in the first round, and it's got everything to do with Luka Doncic. Now, who will benefit more from the Brooklyn Philly trade?
I heard this a lot. In my mind, right now, until Philly proves it, I'm gonna say Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn got a shooter in Seth. They got his name crossed my mind. He didn't play so long. Anyway, they got a squad where that once they get KD back,
Yeah.
they too dynamic. They too dynamic with the big three right now. So I'm gonna have to say Brooklyn, because the reason Philly made this trade is because
What's up, Pete?
what's up, Pierre? The reason Brooklyn made this trade, I mean Philly made this trade. Well, one Harden was disgruntled, and with Kyrie, because he wasn't playing every game, but it was to win a championship. That was it. Philly made this change. Philly made this trade to win a championship.
Correct.
So if they don't win a championship, then Brooklyn wins the trade.
Without a doubt.
Because and another thing, can Harden stay healthy? Because if Harden doesn't stay healthy, then what? And can Harden play with the big man? Can he is he gonna get him is he gonna feed him first? Because that's what he have to do.
Well, I think James Harden can do that. I think these two together are a scary combination.
Hmm.
I mean, Embiid right now is killing it like he's never killed it before, and now he's got a guy that's not only willing to shoot the rock, Ben Simmons anyway, to shoot the rock, he can pass. He will run the floor, and he can fill it up. I'm telling you, they can both fill it up.
Now let me tell you about Ben Simmons now. The difference between Sixers and being with Brooklyn. When he was with the 76ers, they wanted him to expand his game. They wanted him to get on the three-point line to shoot. That's not his game.
Yeah.
His game is around the rim. You know, I mean, he can shoot a three, but he's not gonna be consistent at that. But now when you got Kyrie, KD come back, and I tell you one thing, they get this mandate in New York waived where Kyrie could play every night. It's over because you get Kyrie, you get Durant, and you get Ben Simmons to float around. He doesn't have to shoot. Ben Simmons doesn't have to score. You know,
No, he doesn't have to score.
And-
And they picked up Andre Drummond as well.
and they got
Look,
Andre
I
Drummond.
think the biggest problem for Brooklyn is Kyrie Irving being a full-time player. That's their biggest problem.
Yes.
I think Ben Simmons would work out great with them. He can run the floor. He can play defense. He's a great passer. You got Kyrie doing his thing. You got KD, arguably the best player in the world, at doing his thing. He's unstoppable. You can't stop KD. But Kyrie Irving has to be a full-time player for that to happen. Otherwise, they can forget it. You are not going to beat Milwaukee. You're not going to beat Philadelphia with Embiid and Harden. You're not going to beat the Chicago Bulls. And you're not going to beat the Miami Heat if Kyrie Irving isn't a full-time player in a 7-game series. It ain't going to happen.
I'll tell you one thing: if they meet in the playoffs, Brooklyn's gonna win.
Say that again?
If they meet in the playoff series, Brooklyn's gonna win.
Well, and it will be because of pure emotion, because of the way James Harden skipped out on his boys. He skipped out on OKC. He skipped out on Houston. Now he skipped out on Brooklyn, and who knows when he's going to skip out on Philadelphia. But if he skips out on Philadelphia, you better do it in the dark of the night, on the cover of darkness. 'Cause, dude, you won't handle that one too well. You better make sure they don't see you dip. Anyway, that being said, no injuries needed for the Nets. No, they don't need any injuries, P. There's no question about that. That's the last thing that they need. They need KD to get back healthy and ready to roll. Now, as I say that, I was talking about the Lakers earlier, and I guess I already know your answer, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. And my question is, are the Los Angeles Lakers done?
Are they done? The Lakers right now are 27-31.
Yeah.
With what? 20, 26, 27, something like that.
Roundabout.
Games left. Can they get on a run? They can. They have the players to do it. You know, only they need to jump 2 spots. I mean, they in the 9th spot. I could see them coming up in front of the Clippers in Minnesota, who got the 7th spot. I could see them jumping up 2 spots. You know, and they jump up 2 spots where they be playing the Grizzlies or the Warriors. So, I mean, can they do it? They can, but the problem is Westbrook needs the ball in his hand. If you saw him with the Wizards and what he was doing with the Wizards is because he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah,
he was the facilitator. He was doing that. LeBron wants the ball in his hand in LA, and then you got AD who need the ball in his hand. You know, so and one thing, if AD can't stay healthy, I don't see them making it. But if all of them can stay healthy, just with the leadership, with LeBron and AD, even Westbrook, I think they could make the playoffs. I mean, do I believe they're gonna win the championship? No, but can they make the playoffs? Yes. Now, does that mean they're done? Like because they didn't win a chip? Uh, in LA eyes, yes. In the Lakers eyes, yes, because that's why they put that team together to win a championship. So, I mean, I guess if you want to say if they're done, yes, they're done because they're not going to win the championship.
No, and I would have to, and I grudgingly say that because I believe in LeBron James. I think the guy can overcome difficult situations, but there comes a point where LeBron James will check out, and I mean I've seen him do it before with the Lakers in his first iteration. With I think his second year, maybe his first year, they missed the playoffs, but there was a point during the year where LeBron was like, "Yo, I'm out," and I think he's nearing that right now. If you look at the comments he made during the AllStar Weekend about other general managers, like the Los Angeles Rams general manager did everything he had to do to win, intimating that Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, is not doing everything he can do to get him help. He threw that out there. He said, am I going to go back to Cleveland? Well, I'm not going to close the door on that. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, that's telling me that, you know what, LeBron James is ready to do the decision again. Anyway, and so and so that means he might be checking out on the Lakers. You got Anthony Davis, he's out again.
But Rob Pelinka is not the GM. LeBron James is the GM.
He's the guy that ran Magic Johnson out of town.
But LeBron James is the GM. Everybody knows that.
Well,
he put the team together.
Well, the thing is, I got you on that. But Aaron, Rob Pelinka has to pull the trigger on the deal. And the only thing LeBron can say, yo, Rob, I want him, yada, 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 yada. But Rob Pelinka is the one that pulls the trigger. And he hasn't done anything. So that's the message that he sent LeBron James. I'm sorry, I'm standing pat. So and LeBron is like, and I'm like, he's checking out, Aaron. I don't see him continuing to press if he doesn't feel that there's a championship within sight.
That's true, but LeBron wanted Westbrook.
Yeah, he wanted Westbrook. So, well, see what you got after that?
He got him.
And as I mentioned Russell Westbrook, my next question is Russell Westbrook no longer dependable as a contributor to a championship team?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I just would say that he's on the wrong team. I would say that.
Okay.
He's in the wrong system. Let me put it that way. Like I said before, he needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be the one facilitating. He's not one of them players to come up and mind you, Russell Westbrook can score anytime he wants to. Anytime he wants to, he can go to the rack and lay it up anytime during the game he wants to. But he's not one of them type of players to go down and get AD involved and look for LeBron. I would just say, I just would say he's in the wrong system on the wrong team. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think when you're looking at the Lakers right now, LeBron James is scratching his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, Russ, I thought you could adapt to this. I thought you were a good enough player to work around the fact that you can't do what you want to do, but you can work around me. I mean, and he's not doing that. And so to your point, he's not in the right system, which says he's a system guy. He's not that kind of baller that we thought he was. His basketball IQ isn't as high as we thought it was. It's like he's a one gear guy. I'm going up and down this floor 100 miles per hour. Get out of my way. I'm going, balls to the wall for 94 feet in 48 minutes. And that's the only way that he can play. But if you can't slow it down and make adjustments and that takes basketball IQ to make adjustments. Like No one has a higher IQ than LeBron James. I don't think any. It's like Peyton Manning being the smartest quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL. In my opinion, LeBron James is the smartest basketball player that we've ever seen in the NBA. His IQ is through the roof. But what I'm saying to you is, as a basketball player, as an all-star, you have to have a high IQ. And I don't think Westbrook has one.
Will I go that far to say he doesn't have a high IQ? I wouldn't say that, but I do agree with you on saying that he has one style of style of play.
Yeah,
And that's
he has
getting
one style.
Yeah,
And I love it. That guy's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I always say this, Aaron. I always say this, okay? There are a lot of good players out there, but the great ones make adjustments. The great ones have the kind of skills that can fit the situation. What do I need to do in this game? What do I need to do against this player? What do I need to maximize my performance tonight? That's what the great ones do. And I haven't seen that from Russell.
Well, I think another thing that's hurting Russell is his jump shot too. He just can't sit on a perimeter, and because if you got AD and LeBron posting people up, you should be able to just stand on a perimeter and just shoot all day. But he just don't. He that's not his game. For him to stay on a perimeter, so that's another thing that's why he's not a good fit for that shooter, because Lakers needed 3-point shooters. They really didn't need Russell Westbrook. They needed somebody that could shoot the ball. If you got AD and you got LeBron there, they needed somebody on the perimeter. And that's not Russell Wilson's game. So I think he would have been a better fit on a better team, in my opinion. But that's just to me personally. I like the trade the Wizards did to got all the pieces they got, but I still think he got a lot in his tank. He got a lot in his tank to give. He just need to find the right. Now, mind you, some people say what happened at OKC. When he had Durant, Harden, and him. Was that the right system for him? He had the ball in his hands then.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they just couldn't get over the hump. So, is it him?
Well, again, it's food for thought. I know Laker Nation was expecting a better result than this from Russell, and certainly LeBron James. I think we all, as basketball fans, are surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was going to work, and it's not. Let me ask you this. What are we learning about Anthony Davis?
He's injury prone.
He's injury prone, dude. He cannot. He's one of those players that can't stay on the field.
That's what we learn about him.
He's injury prone, and he's benefited by being with LeBron James in that he has a championship. And LeBron James believes in him 100%. But Anthony Davis cannot stay upright. And I tell you right, that he's due back in 2 weeks. And I could see him getting in the first round if they make it and getting hurt again.
First of all, that championship has a question mark on it. That's just my opinion.
What's that?
The championship they got last year has a question mark.
I totally agree with that. I call that the bubble championship.
Yeah, that's the bubble chip.
That's the bubble chip.
Is that
so? No, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. That's just the bottom line. Okay, so as we wind the show down, who are your top 5 teams right now as we speak in the NBA?
Top 5 right now as we speak in the NBA. I started number 5. Number 5, I have the Sixers.
Okay.
Number 4, I have Miami. Number 3, I have Memphis.
Okay.
Number 2, I have the Warriors.
Okay.
and then the number one I have the Suns.
Well, I think that's an interesting top five. I mean, especially the Sixers there at the fifth spot. And are you saying with James Harden or just as they are?
I'm saying right now, today, in my opinion, they are the fifth best team in the NBA.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that if you look at the top five teams in the NBA record wise, that's not a bad list. You've got Phoenix with the best record at 48-10 in the NBA. Golden State's number 2, Memphis number 3. So 3 teams from the Western Conference have the best records in the NBA, followed by Miami at 4 and the Bulls at number 5. It's interesting you skipped over Chicago. Any particular
Well,
reason why?
I have Chicago at 6.
Okay. Now,
So
any
I got
particular
them.
reason why you went with the Sixers over the Bulls?
I just think the Bulls are not as consistent. And they got a one show pony with DeRozan. If
Okay.
DeRozan ain't going, they not going.
Okay.
In my that's just my opinion. If you look at them couple games, especially last game, couple games for the All-Star break, DeRozan won them games by himself. If you just watch the games, but I mean, in my opinion, you could take 4 or 5 because I got Miami at 4, 76ers at 5, Bulls at 6, and I got the Bucks at 7.
Okay.
I mean,
Whoa.
all of them.
Oh, the Bucks down at 7. Okay.
Yeah, I got the Bucks at 7 with Giannis. I got all of them. To me, I mean, can they be interchangeable? They can be interchangeable. That list might change, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, some other people might have the Bucks higher, the Bulls higher. But yeah, that's my top 5.
Okay, that's respectable. I'm going to give you my top 5. My top 5, I've got the Sixers at number 1 with James Harden.
Is
I
that because
got Golden State at 2, Memphis at 3. I got Phoenix at 4, and I got the Miami Heat at 5. That's my top 5. In my opinion, the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win it all. Joel Embiid and James Harden are getting ready to unleash on the NBA, and they're going to win the whole thing. And the reason I got Phoenix down there at 4, Chris Paul can't stay healthy. And even if he gets through this thumb injury, he's going to get into a series in postseason, and he's going to come up lame. I don't like saying that because I love Chris Paul. But this is an ongoing theme with him. So I bump him all the way down there to 4 because Steph Curry and them boys ain't playing no games out there in Oakland. And Ja Morant ain't playing no games in Memphis. They not playing no games.
No, they not.
You see what I'm saying? And then Miami, you just can never count out Jimmy Butler. It's just something about Jimmy Butler, dude. I don't know what it. He's got that it factor. Like he doesn't do anything particularly outstanding. Jimmy Butler doesn't. He's just all this. People that play with their heart are diamond. You just don't see him every day, but you know him when you see him. It's like, yeah, that guy's got that certain it factor. You've seen him on the court. You know, back in the day when we used to play ball, you see certain guys that just had something about them, like that dude right there. You know, you can't mess with. That's Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he has an all around game. He plays defense and he could score basically at will. So I do like he has an
He's all heart.
Yeah, he's all
Jimmy Butler's all heart. He's the dude at the playground you don't want to fight.
That's true.
That's the guy at the ball. You don't want to fight Jimmy Butler. He's coming out. He's coming out winning. So anyway, that's my top 5. We'll see what happens. It'll be a lot of fun to, once the season kicks back off on Thursday to see what happens. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's going to be really exciting watching these two trades with Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Because I don't have Brooklyn in my top. I don't even have Brooklyn in my top 10. Mostly because Kyrie Irving cannot play part-time and expect to win a championship. And you just can't win like that. You just can't. And then you got Ben. Everybody's saying that Ben Simmons has got this mental issue. And now I personally don't think that it's that bad. Like, once he gets the rock, he's going to know what to do. Am I in Philly anymore? Oh, just check it. He's going to be fine.
He looked happy on the sideline, I tell you that.
Oh, man, he is so happy to be out of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. But I'll tell you, man, I just keep hearing these whispers about his mental health. So we got to see. And then, of course, KD's got to get back. And I said this a while back. Over the years, since Kevin Durant tore his Achilles tendon in Golden State, he's had a health problem. Kevin Durant.
I wouldn't call it a health problem. I would say he has had lingering, nagging injuries that would keep him out.
Yeah.
A stretch here and there.
Yeah.
I think soon. Well, not this year, but because this is crunch time for them. But next year, KD gonna be one of them players where you got to watch him sit. He can't play back to backs. I think he's gonna be one of them type of players. But once they get off, if he come back strong, Kyrie and Ben Simmons, they come back strong and they sneak into these playoffs, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, well, look, I would totally agree with you.
That's why everybody's dropping these mandates. So I hope New York comes soon. Because once they do, they're going to unleash a beast. And Kyrie Irving.
Hey, look, I can believe it. Listen, if everything works out well in Brooklyn and Kyrie is back full time, they could win the whole thing as well. I would have no problem believing that.
Because
there's a lot of questions that have to be answered there.
But the thing is, what doesn't make any sense was Kyrie can't play at home games, but other players unvaccinated can come in and play. Like Bradley Beal is not vaccinated, and he played in Brooklyn. So Kyrie can't play, but other players could come in and they can play.
I did not know that. I had no idea that was going on. So this whole thing is convoluted anyway. This whole vaccination deal is 100% convoluted anyway. Okay, and so I don't know what to think about that, but I do know if Kyrie Irving can't make himself available full time, Brooklyn's going to have a problem.
They are.
So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Maurice Brown Show NBA Sports Edition. And if you have enjoyed this show, like it and share it. And subscribe to the Maurice Brown Comedy channel. And also Aaron Moore Photography, as Aaron is a photographer. If you need a headshot, if you need a photo session of any kind, whether you're a model, an actor, a comedian, an artist of any sort, and you need a photo session, look up Aaron Moore. And what's your website, Aaron?
AaronMoorePhotography.com.
Aaron Moore, great photos, ladies and gentlemen. You got to check it out. He is a great photographer, believe you me. I'm not just saying that. He is an awesome photographer. And if you have enjoyed our show, and you're like at the end, like, oh man, this is the end. Don't worry, it's going to be on tomorrow on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV, so you can check out the whole thing there. We'll see you guys next week here on the Maurice Brown Show with Aaron Moore as we talk more NBA, the NBA Sports Edition on the Maurice Brown Show. Aaron Moore, may the peace of Jesus Christ, sir, be with you and your family. God bless you.
Yes, sir.